But anyway, both Bob and I have a very strong background in admissions. I used to be director of St. Catherine College admissions before they closed. I was lucky to get this job for 4 years before that happened. And my son was there as a junior, and his junior year when they closed. So we kind of have walked that world in my experience.
I started college admissions in 1984. Oh,
He is really
that's when you were born. I did college, I actually went to college in Vermont. And I worked for 2 private colleges in Vermont. Then I'm from Cincinnati, became director of admissions at Thomas More College. And worked there for 7 years, I think. So it was 21 years admissions. And then now I think it's my 15th year with KHEAA. And you said you had your son, he was gone previous. So I had 3. My oldest, 29, he went to UK, and so he's done. Who's next? Connor went to NKU, and he's finished. And then my baby KHEAA is still working her way through. And she took the proverbial 2 years off. Maybe I'll tell you the rest of the story. Okay.
So both of us have a lot of experience in admissions, but today what we want to talk about is how the outreach team can help you with admissions and some of the programs that we do under the KHEAA umbrella. So the slide we're going to show, we're going to just touch on it real quickly. But this is a presentation that we can do in your classrooms. Typically, it would probably be a spring in the junior year or any time, well, the early part of the fall for your seniors. But if you want to click next. Sure. So resources that we have, we've got the publications, which you're all going to be hearing about those later. We have us, we have our website, we have a college info roadshow bus, and that's a cool thing to bring because you can have it come to your school, and sometimes we'll do sessions where, especially during college application campaigns, where students can go on with us and check with these money and apply to colleges while maybe one of us outreach counselors are in a lab doing that. So it's a great tool. Next. And again, just all of our publications, you're going to see a lot of those. You can go online and order them. They're free. We will ship you tons of them. You can ask your outreach counselor to bring them for you, but we're really scattered because we all have a lot of counties. So we're going to be slower, if you can believe it, than the U.S. now. So I would try to order them directly through. Next. So this one here, the Kentucky Goes to College, we have 3 campaigns, and we try to encourage all of our counselors to register their schools because it has 3 components. So we have the close the deal, the college application, and then the college decision day, which a lot of schools will call it senior decision days because we also include things about going into the workforce, going into the military. So just to kind of touch on that briefly, the close the deal could be a junior event in the spring of the year, and it is a huge event. So are any of y'all returning coaches? Have any of y'all done a close the deal? Okay, so
but Gallatin usually does one, so that's a heads up. Yeah. Good.
So Bob, you want to talk just real quick a little bit about what the close the deal is?
Yeah, so I think Tony said juniors, spring is typically when most of them are done.
But some of them do it in the fall.
Some do it in the fall, yeah, but no pressure on you there. It should be spring. And you have to get a little head work, done ahead of time because the ideal thing is literally in a gym, for example, you have tables like this, you have maybe 8 students at a table, and you have them divided with numbered tables, okay? Financial aid sessions, mini sessions at the table, admissions, and then kind of like career opportunities. And the career opportunities are like your local people you can call on. You call on alums from Gallatin County or whatever, and they speak about their career or just that process. Financial aid, a lot of times it's us or your local financial aid people from colleges, and then admissions would be your college people. They typically also have a college fair component. So you try to, ask the college people or admissions reps to come in and set up for a college fair. A lot of them have an intro by a principal, maybe a guest speaker for a few minutes, and then the juniors are sitting at the table, and then the session people, presenters, move, and they don't move. So we're assigned like 1, 3, 5, 7, something like that. We get little 15-minute talks, and then we move, and so they're all getting a financial aid and admissions and a career person.
So it's a fun day, and it's kind of designed to get them motivated, thinking about that fall year coming up. Typically, their speaker will be a celebrity graduate from that school. So we can provide outreach counselors to try to come to them, but that's why the spring is better because our falls are so heavily booked. In the fall, there will be a college application campaign, and your schools can do that like one day and bring in your feeder schools and the students apply. It could be a week-long process. I'm going to be hosting a presentation on it, a webinar, and also Chase is. So there are 2 different dates. We've got one coming up Monday and then one, I think, the 22nd. So we'll make sure we forward those dates to you all if you want to do the webinar, and we go into a lot more detail on this. But it's something that you can make, especially the college application campaign, you can make it as little as you want or as huge as you want. So we'll go over that in that session. And then we have the college decision day, which is in the spring, typically in May, and that's when we celebrate what the students are going to intentionally go forward to. And so that's why I like to call it a senior decision day, not just a college decision day, because we're celebrating all of them, no matter, as long as they have intent after high school and not just video games in the basement. All right, next. This is our website. We go over it. And now, because students can do so much with the dual credits and more credit scholarships, having us come in and do some sessions for students to look up their keys money. Your schools will be different on whether or not they can give the student the social security number. The students will have to have that to be able to see their keys money. But typically, 10th grade is a great time because they're going to see they have money or not. And it's a motivator to kind of get them on into that next. And that just shows how we get into it. And this is how we go with the students. And again, showing them a screen of what their keys money could look like. So it's just really important now. Early is better. A few years ago, most seniors didn't ever look at this till their senior year, and they're like, oh, I wish I had known more. So we're really trying to get in now in the 10th grade where they can see their money, and because they're going to go in and tag preferences for any of those full credit or dual credit scholarships as a junior or senior. Next. The ACT, we review that next. And sources next. And we go over benchmarks, just kind of reminding them what they need to have to be able to get into college or which classes they could take next. And then the getting the facts, I think Stephen is going to go over that as well today. So he used to be a Kentucky college coach. He was our college info roadshow guy, the guy with the green bus, and now he's an outreach counselor. So he's going to talk a little bit more about this. And I love getting the facts, so it's one of my favorite things to do. That's a great spring program. If you have any individual classes or you want anybody to come in, this is a really good one to pull us in. But we talk about it with the students because they can do it anytime on their own. Next.
I'll just say one thing real quick. It says attend college fairs, and that's obviously towards the students. You probably already know this, but I would encourage you to attend whatever college fair is local to you and go around and get the business card of every single one of those colleges.
That's a good idea.
Now you have a Rolodex. You can tell I've been doing this a long time.
Rolodex.
I still have my Rolodex from the 80s. It's somewhere in my desk. But now you have a contact. Now typically that's the person that's going to be your school contact from UK or whatever. And now you have their contact. So when you start getting pounded with questions, now instead of 1-800 UK admissions, oh, let me call this first.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say it's worth it at a nighttime college program, maybe NKU or Thomas More, whatever that local one. Walk around and just say, I'm a college coach, could I get this?
And they're going to love you all, especially from the point of admissions. because they're always looking for access to get in. And so because you'll have 4 students, but you're also offering to everybody, you're going to be a great contact for them, because we know our high school guidance counselors are just totally overwhelmed with everything. So where I have coaches, and I love my coaches because they're just such a good way for me to get into the school, but also for your colleges. So you're going to want to have good connections with them.
I need to highlight this next one.
Go right ahead.
Page 35. This is your college plan. And so it says implement your college plan on page 35. My second son, Connor, going through the admissions process. Excellent high class rank at Dixie Heights High School. Basically a 4.0 GPA. A solid, I think it was 25 ACT. Applied to maybe a dozen schools. Kentucky as well as Ohio, mostly Cincinnati. So he had sticky notes all over the place. He was going to miss deadlines for scholarships or admissions. So he actually developed a spreadsheet. And I said, well, let's take that and let's work together. And what we try to do is say one thing, simple sheet. So if I don't know if I would do this, but it could be in your position, make maybe copies of this, and when you meet with your students, say, let's meet again, or let's try to start this, and I want you to fill this out. And they'll bring it back, and they're like, I don't know why I want to go to college, or I don't know what colleges. This will kind of guide them. Okay, do some research, get this going, so that by the time you have your college application week or day, and the FAFSA is due October 5th, or 1st, starts, now they have an idea of something rather than it's time to fill out the FAFSA and they don't even know where they're thinking about what they want to do.
And I'm going to chime in on our publications, especially for admissions. Did any of you all remember getting the Getting In book, that the snapshot page of every college? So my son, when he got that, he took it and phew, because he was only going to listen to what the teachers were telling him. He had to go read for psychology 6 years. That's all he ever heard. Okay. Well, we had ended up going around checking all the schools. He ended up at St. Catherine because of money and everything. But when they closed and he had to find a new college, then he was all over that book, because then he did the Excel spreadsheet and he could use the contact information in there. He could see the programs that they offered. So whenever your students get them, if it's a session I'm doing, I always bring graduation pins and I have them write their name real big in it, because at some point, maybe not that month, they're like, who cares? Like my son, chuck it, because they already know everything. At some point, they're going to want that book. So be sure and have put their name on a big bold somewhere, and keep an extra box of those, because they're going to lose them. But it is a super good tool as you're working on the admissions. And I really encourage students, when I talk to them, take it to the college fair, because that college is in there, and if they meet John Smith, okay, well, I'm going to write John's name. When is a good time to come visit your school? When can I get my application fee waived? Things that you want to know that could help your student. If they start writing it in their personal book, if they own that book, then it's going to be a good tool for them. And then, like for my son, when his college closed, we were able to go back to that book from 3 years earlier, but it was still the academic version, but he could have had one from 3 years earlier. That would allow them to really search. So it's a great tool. We have tons of great tools to help them. They're just not always ready for it yet. So that's why you're in these schools, because you're in schools that the culture is ready. But we're helping them get there.
Two quick things. Like you going to the college fair, getting the business card, and then if your students go, tell them to get a business card. Because if they leave with all their stuff and it's like, wow, I really like UK, hopefully you have a contact form, but they should have that contact. Okay? That can really help them to have a person to go to rather than just an office of leadership. And then I'll just say quickly, make college decisions by May 1st. That's in there. It's still alive and well, as far as I know. It's been this way since I started in '84, is it's called the Candidates Reply Date Agreement, that colleges who are, in good standing and, play by these NACAC rules should allow a student until May 1st to make their decision without an arm twisting. Okay? Now, if they have a decision made earlier, great. Particularly if they're going to UK and they're going to live on campus, you may want to put your deposit in, so you have a room on campus. But this is in there so it allows students until May 1st to make the decision. And if they did make a decision prior to that and paid a deposit, as long as they put in writing to a school, I have changed my mind, gone to another school, they should get that deposit back. That's the admissions or registration deposit. I think the housing deposit,
That's a different.
they would lose that, okay? But these are things, just in kind of a basic way you should know. But if you're ever in a situation, ask your guidance counselor or call your guidance. Okay, next.
So then we just go over reasons why you pick a college, just give them a head start and think about it. Next. And then I love this slide because most students don't have a clue how many choices we have. So if we go next and we talk about the difference between a community college, a big public four-year school, and the myriad. So this slide shows them where those colleges are, just because in our state, like I'm in the Central Kentucky, Nelson, Hardin, we have over 35 choices of different brands of schools within a 1-hour drive, which is crazy. Who would think we have that many? And in most places, if you're anywhere near Louisville or Lexington or maybe Bowling Green, your students are going to have a huge choice. And so my son went close to home, stayed at home, went to private college, saved a lot of money, but then ended up way down in the Cumberlands because of shopping and seeing what would be the best fit for him. But in the book, at one time, we had 76 different brands of schools in our state alone, which is just crazy. A lot of choices. Okay. So again, we talk about doing the major, and what I like to emphasize with students is they don't have to know all those big answers yet, because for all of you all, how many of you all changed your mind when you went to college? You changed careers, like, yeah, everybody. So the pressure of needing to know that major, needing to know all those big-headed questions, let that go. I just emphasize for a good foundation so that when you change your mind, you can still get what you want. So just some tips that we talk about. The campus visit, we go over that. Since we've both been in admissions, we like to emphasize a better time to go. Don't go at Thanksgiving, don't go at Christmas. It's like Hogwarts at Christmas time. Nobody's there. So we talk about when you should go, what you're looking for, and how you can set that up. And I think that if you all don't have resources for the college visits, if you're connected to a school that has Gear Up, sometimes Gear Up schools have funding that can help pay for transportation to take them through. Sometimes colleges may have something set up where they can also help pay. It depends on where you are and what the feeder schools are, that kind of thing. But collaboration is a big key here. You're hearing Bob talk about getting those contacts. It makes a big difference for your students. Those personal contacts that help getting them wherever they need to go. So the campus visit is hugely important, and you may be able to get collaborative resources to help get them there.
Just two more things. First, as an admissions person, I love when I say, do you have any questions? And they pull the question sheet out. Okay? So I would encourage your students, if you have a chance, I want at least 3, 4, 5 questions that you write down that you're going to take there to make sure.
The college fair or the visit.
Well, yeah, that you're prepared when you go down there to get your questions answered. And while you mentioned the college fair, know what colleges are going to be there. If the student walks into the National College Fair in Cincinnati that has 500 colleges and is not prepared, all they're going to do is walk around like this. Get the list ahead of time. Highlight the ones you want to go to. go to those, and then at the end, if you have time, flow around. But have those questions ready for the fair as well as the visit. And then the other thing is, you all know your policy on college visits. A lot of the schools allow, I call them get out of jail free, but it's something more than that. You know, where the kid can go on a Wednesday, which is the perfect day to see UK, for example, when it's in action. And they get a free day. They just have to notify ahead of time and come back with a signed thing. So do you all have that?
That's a question I have. Is that something considered my site that you and I would go over the policy for the campus visits and advocates feel out the area they would think about?
We could do that. I think not necessarily. So I really can't remember each school. Like I don't even know. Does Newport have something like that where they can leave school for a day?
Most schools allow two excused absences to go.
Like junior
Some may
year,
have
two,
three,
senior year.
yeah.
For student.
Right now,
For student, I believe.
that's like for good for example,
Yeah.
And guys, one thing, just remember we've got those mini grants that you can apply for this year where, let's say you want to put together one of these campus visits during the regular school day. We'll have more information when that gets ready, but
Okay,
you'll be
yeah.
able to apply for funding to be able to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of that involves the planning with your school administration, make sure everything's kosher before we move forward with it. But that'd be an opportunity for you to put something like this together for your.
Yeah, and I know Anderson County did last year. KHEAA had a couple of different days where they were doing things. So the students get excused absences. Here's just another tip for your students. Some schools are everybody there gets free or reduced lunch, okay? But if your student actually qualifies for it, and they may not want to do the paperwork, it's like, I get free lunch anyway. But this is something you might want to encourage them privately, just say, I understand things could be tight at home, but if you, and some people don't want to do it because of pride, but as a senior, it could really help, and here's just some ways it could help. One, they get all application fees waived if they're on free or reduced lunch in the state, and I don't know beyond that. Two, they get 2 more free times to take the ACT, so that's a huge thing. And then 3, even if they don't get on free or reduced lunch till their senior year, but at any time through high school, 9th grade and above, they took an AP class and passed that exam at the end of the year, we go back and give them the bonus. So they don't have to be on free or reduced lunch the same year that they took that class, but it will go back and get it for them. Or if they were on reduced lunch in 9th grade and never again, they would be able to get the bonus still as a senior. Okay, so that's just kind of a personal conversation you want to have with students, but there's a lot of benefits if they actually do, but they have to do the actual qualifying paperwork, especially if you're at a school where they all have it. Okay.
And does our guidance counselor have that paperwork?
Yes, yes, they do. So, and that helps them out. It's just a little help, and it also helps when they do the FAFSA. If they click the button that I'm on free reduced lunch, it waives some other inquiry questions later. So there are some genuine things that it can help them as if they plan on going on into college. And I know we're getting pretty close on time here. The rest of the slides go over a lot of details and things. This is a good program for us to come in and do. I would recommend your juniors or your seniors, but not seniors after Christmas break because they're done mentally. Okay, so they're on to the next part of tying up and paying for it, things like that. For our returning counselors, do you have any tips on something that worked really good with your classes or students that you like in regards to admissions? Putting you all on the spot.
You guys do a college application, it's like 2 days, I think.
Yeah, well, we just make all of our students audit educated. We don't pay for the whole now. We just go into the English classrooms.
Yeah.
Because NKU has like a reciprocity system for their schools. It's essentially free. If you are at all free reduced lunch or absent eligible, we can get involved with it. But so we just go to the classrooms, English classrooms. We just do application. We just say we can pass it. Yeah. Because
Is anybody at school where they make them all do the FAFSA that is required to graduate? We do it.
Over.
I'm kind of mixed on that. I actually went and helped at a school one day in Bullitt County, and where they were forced to, and it's a free country. So they should, in my opinion, they should not be forced to do this. I strongly recommend that they do it, but I hate when they're forced to, because I saw students making up some names and stuff. And if they tag it to a real phone, a real email, or their real name or social security, heaven help them unlock it a year, 2 years later when they really do want to go.
I used to do
So-
nothing up like that.
Yeah, being a smart aleck.
Yeah, it was just a huge mess.
It's a huge mess. So I know some administrations, they are making it part of the graduate requirement. And, you know, if you have somebody that's resisting, maybe if you could have them wait to do it so they're not in that frame of mind. And just say, well, let's talk about it later. Maybe meet with them personally in your office and try to work through it then. All of the outreach counselors are glad to come in and, you know, have small sessions or big sessions to help your students. But while we're in such a mode to get them to that point, if they're not genuinely ready for there, then it's going to be so problematic when they are ready. So just a word of advice. Anybody else that has done some college application things that you thought were pretty good? Are you returning?
This is my first year.
Okay.
I get super confidence, I get that.
All right.